Hey, how's it going, everybody? Another day, another project. Today we are finally working on this garden. So as you can see, I back drug that section over there after this was tilled this year just to try to level it out as much as possible. Say we have this wonderful wind still blowing stuff all over the place, but I'm going to try to get the first few layers of this landscaping fabric down, and then we'll continue to work across. Unfortunately, over here, as you can see, I got a trench dug here along here somewhere going out to where my septic is. I have a break in my electrical line, so I cannot lay my fabric like I wanted to. It was going to go this way, but I can't run it all the way up to the house because we might end up having to dig a bunch of this up. So I can hurry up and get my plants in the ground. We're going against the original plan, and we are going to lay the fabric that way along the fence, and then I can get 4 or 5 strips in, hopefully, and we can at least get all our tomatoes and everything planted on that side. Originally we were going to go with grow bags, but unfortunately my truck project did not work out as intended. It looks like I need to replace my tranny as well as my rear end. So trying to get the trailer back with all the soil that I had for the grow bags and all that stuff, but we ended up getting the wrong soil, is not going to work out either. So we're just rolling with the punches. I'm sure I'm going to post this after the video where I share the tragedy of how awful all our basement plants turned out because of the heat and the wind. I'm thinking maybe about 10% of what we planted is actually going to make it in the ground. The rest is probably going to the compost pile. Real sad, but you got to roll with the punches. We're going to direct seed some stuff. I know we have, it's the stuff downstairs has only been growing a couple of months, and we already got tomato flowers. We already had pepper buds, so hopefully anything we direct seed as far as peppers and that kind of stuff goes, maybe we'll get one harvest out of them instead of a few like we were planning. But you just got to roll with the punches, and that's all part of farming. Oh, look, another helper's home. Tyler's just getting off the bus. So all right, on to it. Let's get this fabric done. All right, landscape fabric day 2. Yesterday it was windy and we just did not get as much done as I would like to, but we got a good little section. We got 4 strips down, and it's just enough for us to get the tomatoes that we have going in the ground and get them taken care of. We still need to go around the edges and staple the edges and cut or burn at the fence posts and all that fun stuff. But I just figured I'd give you a shot of this before you actually see us doing tomatoes. I made myself a little fancy tool this morning to heat up and burn our holes, and we'll use the torch to heat that up and then put holes all the way along. And that first row I'm coming off the fence a little bit so we can work on both sides of the plants pretty well. And we have quite a few tomatoes going in, so ideally by the end of today this whole section here will be filled with tomatoes. Well, the bane of my existence lately has been the wind. It just, between that and the heat, just destroyed a bunch of our plants and was a total pain trying to do this. And of course, trying to use the torch to use our little burner to burn our holes was a complete total pain too. But we got this cool little barrel stove the other day at the dump for free, and we jimmy rigged it up on this wagon so that way it won't roll off of there, and now we have fire on demand. So let's see how this works. All right, well, things are going, just as typical as they normally go for me. So we had it all set up, as you saw earlier in the video, with the little can, and we had everything all pretty, and it was looking really nice. Well, then my auger bit thing wasn't working very well, and so then we needed to do a bigger one. So then we did a different can with a different bucket, trying to do that to keep it all pretty. Where to go? Somewhere around here anyways. And that didn't work. So then finally I got frustrated, and we just used the torch to just burn holes in everything it's finally not windy enough to do that. And then to actually punch my holes, since we want to bury our tomatoes deep, we just used my ice auger, and it worked pretty darn good. I got one line in. Since we don't want to trounce all this dirt into this matting, we're going to start getting some tomatoes in, and then we can get this dirt back swept off, and then we'll go through and we'll punch all the rest of the holes. And hopefully we're going to have a bunch of tomatoes up here pretty soon. And then we can take the hose and spray off this landscape fabric so it doesn't look such a mess. But Corbin and I got some of the poles up. We're going to do like a California weave system, or a Florida weave, or I don't even know what they call it. But we're going to use twine in between the fence posts to hold the tomatoes up. So we got a few more fence posts we got to put in. And we're going to have to burn a bunch more holes because we probably have enough tomatoes just to fill this whole third of the garden. Over here we have my absolute tomato mess that I'm failing on getting everything done that I want to get done. Here's the Jimmy tomatoes. They're coming along nicely. They're not quite as happy as some of the ones that we have direct planted into the ground. A bunch of those ones back there are planted. I just haven't gotten the strings done yet. Stuff we got bagged up that we need to get out. And then I suppose there's one other update here. Yeah, my landscape fabric is getting tore up by the wind and everything, so that's great, brand new. But look at this. We have a bunch of garlic and stuff planted here. Oh, you know what? It looks like my moron dogs have been laying on this as they knocked all my sticks down. Oh, I hate animals some days. I'm just not happy with that. I had these protected with the nets and everything, and I can tell all my sticks are laying on the ground. So yeah, my dogs have been over here laying on these because, you know, that's what I do, is I live to make them beds for them to lay in when they got 40 acres that they can lay on. So don't mind my frustration with that. But yeah, anyways, that's kind of where we're at. Everything's a mess and not nearly getting as much done as we'd hoped, but we're plugging away. Holy tomato jungle. Whew. My messy floor. Holy tomato jungle. They're a little overdue. Alright, another video I gotta give a little context to. It is now July 6th, and we still have a ton of tomatoes in the basement. That is pretty much what it still looks like down there. That last little clip. It has just been a nightmare between work, and then I already had the pyrotechnic video up, so you guys see that that's another thing I've been doing, plus my normal 9 to 5, and which works out to be a lot more time, and we're just not moving things along as quickly as I'd like. Also, I have other videos coming. You'll see all the direct seed planting that we did out in the field. So my tomatoes are quite a bit further behind than where I'd like them to be, but it is a project that is going to be getting done here in the next week or two, and we will have still a couple of months for them to really take off, and a lot of them are already flowering. So like our peppers and everything else, I hope I get one decent harvest out of them. So, but this is the way this year is going, and we're just plugging away step by step.